Manchester United being put through their paces here behind me before flying out to Bucharest this afternoon. And while Ruben Amorim works on their conditioning and shape and trying to get some consistency in the performances and the spirit he wants to see, the club's recruitment team have been very busy and they're anticipating quite a crazy end to this window with so much up in the air. One thing that's not up in the air, that is confirmed, it's the main thing, Patrick Dorgu. Now, United's priority in this window was signing a left wing back, and they're finalizing an agreed deal with Lecce, with the player set to fly in for his medical. Now, if he does travel today, it would be in the evening, quite late, because he's still waiting for the green light to travel. Medical will be sorted out tomorrow or on Friday. United are just tying up the paperwork in that deal, and then once that is done, we'll know for certain when his medical is happening. Now, what that deal does is not only equips Ruben Amorim with a player that's well-versed in the sort of system that he plays, but it allows them to take their time with Luke Shaw's return, not put any pressure on him. And they're also open to loaning out Tyrell Malacia. Now, Real Betis are amongst the teams interested in him. They've made a very strong check. And then United are also waiting to see if Roma return with a loan offer for Casemiro. They have registered their interest. Now it's whether they follow it up. United are also finalizing a deal for Aiden Heaven, the 18-year-old centre-back from Arsenal. And that move is an interesting one because it's part of a longer drive that has been Jason Wilcox-led to increase the club's pool of talent between the ages of 18 to 20 to prime them to enter the first team. Now, there's been a lot of talk, a lot of intrigue, a lot of attention around Marcus Rashford and what happens with him. We can see him training here. He is waiting on Barcelona to make their move, but they're struggling to create salary space. And if they activate their interest in him, it's going to be very late in the window. They are sensing an opportunistic window where they can possibly put pressure on United to pay a significant chunk of his salary for the deal to get done. So if that doesn't happen and Rashford stays at United, does he have a future? There needs to be some remedying of the relationship between him and Ruben Amorim and the trust between them, and the onus, the head coach has said, is purely on the player. He needs to train the right way, to perform the right way, to present himself in the right way, not just on the pitch, but off the pitch as well in terms of his lifestyle. So as the days pass, it's looking increasingly likely that he will stay here unless Barcelona do what he's hoping they do and activate their interest in him and actually engage United, because that's not happened yet. It's also gone quiet, I'm told, on Alejandro Garnacho. We know Napoli and Chelsea remain interested in the 20-year-old, but neither of them have actually tempted United to sell. And the club have made it quite clear they're not desperate to let Garnacho go. Amorim's been very happy with him and the way he's adjusted to his demands, the way he's increased his defensive diligence. Now, there's a €10 million difference between what Napoli want to pay and what United are expecting. Chelsea haven't engaged United about Garnacho yet, but it is believed that they are his preference. And if they were to push, United would expect a bigger fee from them, given they're a Premier League rival, than they would from Napoli. So the club are saying they're quite happy with Garnacho. They're happy to keep him. The situation is fine as it is. They do believe that, as the window ticks on, that both clubs, Napoli and Chelsea, will re-register their interest and make it a lot more concrete. But as it stands, nothing moving with Garnacho. Now, I'm sure Amorim will be answering a lot about the transfer window about his preparations, about where he feels United are heading, and you can listen to that on Sky Sports News from 7 p.m. live when we'll be crossing to his press conference in Bucharest.
In the old days, under Sir Alex Ferguson, United just used to go out and buy the best, whoever they wanted, Rio Ferdinand, Wayne Rooney. They made sure that they got the very best. Definitely. Now United are shopping at clubs like, no disrespect, Bologna, Atlanta, Lecce. And this guy, Patrick Dorgu, he could turn out to be a great player.
But that's what they're working on.
But a couple of years ago, Lecce bought him for £150,000.
Oh, wow. Wow.
You said 160.
My Vets team would have definitely bought him.
You know, the exchange rate is euros.
Yeah, exactly. Where are United at the moment? How far off are they, do you think?
The way it is now with the fair play rule, and you can't just go out and buy everybody in the market that they're in, or buying, really, as I say, heads or tails players that could be a major success or not. A bit like playing fantasy football. You know, you go and get your Haalands and your people like that who get your points, and then you've got to try and get the other players in who are either going to get you a load of points or they won't get you any points. And that's where Man United are. I think it's a long time. I do. I think it's a long time. You know, and it's a shame it is. This is a big football club. You know, I watched these, you know, from when I was growing up, and now I look at them and I think, how can you fall that quickly? I mean, honestly, it just scrambles my head that you can go from being the greatest club in the world to like an average football team, and you really have to blame, and I'm not blaming the managers really, and I'm not blaming the people upstairs, but I'm blaming the people that were put in charge of these transfers, because their transfers have not been a success. You know, you can name, you'd be lucky if you named them on your hand, would you? Like their successful signings. When you look at teams like Bournemouth and Brighton and teams like that who bring in superstars, you know, so sometimes it's lazy. It's lazy for me, you know, buying Anthony from, you know, because he knew him, you know, Ten Hag. And you can't keep on buying players, you know. That league's a different well to our league. You know, when you turn up in this league, when you're a winger, every single game you play in as a winger, you're playing against an international fullback. An international fullback. You're not doing that in Holland. You know, you're playing against players who are all right. But when you come into the Premier League, every player really who plays in the Premier League as a fullback is an international. And that's the problem we have. And I think it's been lazy and it's been poor transfer.
That's maybe why United are changing their approach now, because they've tried to get all this short-term success by throwing money at it, and they've ended up with this mishmash of a squad. Now we're talking about Dorgu. Do we know how good he is? But for some United fans, it's like finally they're looking at someone that we haven't really heard about. He's a young kid. Let's see what he can do. And looking ahead to the summer, they're already planning for the summer. They're looking at Giovanni Kenda, who's supposed to be a generational talent, 17 years old, admittedly. He's played for Sporting Lisbon. Amorim gave him his debut, so he knows exactly what he's about.
Same
so
thing,
they'll be
picking players he knows.
Yeah, it will. And they'll probably bring in the lad from Sporting if they can.
Gyökeres.
And he knows him. And he needs to buy... With Amorim, it's a bit different, because he wants to play a certain way. He wants to play free at the back, and he wants to stick at that. He won't change. So he needs to bring in players that can play that system. So I do understand the lad from Sporting, and I think he'll want players around that understand.
I'm going to have to stop you.
But Marcus Rashford is available this window. His first choice is to move to Barcelona on loan, but Aston Villa are also interested in signing him. It's well documented, of course, Aston Villa have just sold John Duran. They're looking for more forward options for Unai Emery. Emery is a big fan of Marcus Rashford. Now, I'm not saying the deal is going to happen, but they are